Okay. It all started when I was a kid, and they always told me no. They being certain members in my family. For a few beginning years, I was raised strictly around black Christian folk. Very strict. I had some religious, yet still accepting family, of course. However, I more so remember the judging more than anything. I took after my uncle, Mike. Everything he did, from acting to drawing to rapping to having his way with the shorties, I idolized him. When he began rapping and I tried to take up after him when I was young, nobody believed in that shit. It was always, music's never going to get you anywhere but locked up or killed. That's the problem with the older generation. Afraid of and blind to the power, the strength of pouring yourself and your emotions into a creative outlet. This is why we are further ahead. We have kids doing this right now at 12 years old, at 14 years old, going viral. Just imagine if I got the chance to begin earlier. However, I'm blessed for where we are. It's no secret I've been in both top public and top private white institutions since I was 7 years old. So yes, I am naturally very removed, separated from the traditional definition of a black man. I don't like when people make fun of this, for it was never my choice. As an infant, a child, I excelled in black spaces immensely, and my parents believed the white space would bring more challenges. Boy, were they right. Just not in the way they would think. Educationally, I would constantly feel behind. I was never dumb, always smart, of course, but now they were smarter. Keeping up sometimes just felt like the hardest thing to do. And when you've been applauded for being the smartest, the brightest in a black space, to going somewhere where you feel limited, as if there's competition within this white space, all while being unaware of everything going on around you. Kind of just living, as a kid should be doing, yo. Socially, I had been thrown into, what would I call it? I'd say a zoo. Types of people I had never seen before in my life. And I was just expected to assimilate and accommodate. I was never taught. I had to teach myself by just living. But listen to this guy complain about this not so bad life. But if you really focus on me, my character, and what I say, I never speak as if I've lacked the material goods. Because in fact, I've been overcompensated with them, which is why I took the risk of leaving it all and just doing my own thing. I hate handouts, and I hate living in a skin that's not true to me. This is exactly why we're here today. I feel like I've been faced with identity crises my entire life, and I've never, ever, ever, ever wanted to look within. Always elsewhere to escape. I fucking hate talking about my past because thinking of those memories is really hard. That's why I stuck with theater. I'm telling you, there were these times that I was a kid and I was always ready to drop theater and just start doing music, but I felt it was my duty to keep going and not let my parents down because that's what they wanted from me, to be a big-time actor and be in theater and whatnot. I've taken a break from the stage with acting and theater because of that realization. I had become infatuated with the fantasy that was embodying these characters to run away from me. I'm telling you, man, from 5 a.m. wake-ups because we live so far, school days 3:15, rehearsal starting 3:30, going until 6 p.m., sometimes even 10 p.m., 11 p.m., then to having to do homework all and then just keeping that cycle going. I never had much space to explore myself at all. It was never promoted. Just keep working, Breon, and everything you want will come. I haven't accepted what's been done to me, for I am only just now learning to embrace it all. And this was only possible because I learned to just stop and reflect. When I look at everything I've done and where I've come from, boy, I can't believe it. A kid who was freestyling with his brother in a high school library study room, high as balls, filling with students just telling us to go, start recording, then being in that basement with my brother Rashid and Vankar actually doing it, to now where I'm fully fledged into this whole solo career on Harvard campuses, learning priceless information and shit, like opening for crazy artists like 24K Gold and Lil Durk, Big Flock, just like, man, what the fuck? Conversations with inspirations like IDK, fucking Virgil Abloh, dude, like, all reminding me of why I started this shit in the first place. To teach those that have grown numb, as I have, to instill empathy back into themselves, their souls, and to guide them to want to do the same for others. The name Apollo was born like this. Remember those few Christian family members I mentioned earlier that were strict and, it got as drastic as to some considering me a demon. I'd be 16 trying to show songs that were literally just me trying to speak on my past, only to be shunned. Remember, I was never taught. I had to teach myself. Imagine creating art for people you love that are supposed to love you and without indulgence hit you with some fucked up, false, pre-med connotations that existed everywhere but your specific creative product. Let me tell you, it's depressing. It's fucking depressing hearing you've just turned into this demonic being that's rah, rah, rah. As you begin to embrace an extension of yourself that, okay, some family just doesn't agree with. I was depressed. And they told me I wasn't. It's like I just wanted to be human, but was constantly stripped of the chance to embrace that humanity. When I said fuck it all and started music, I needed an image, a title to elevate my mentality because there were moments where I truly believed I just couldn't do it. No way with this every influence going on in my brain I can do this. To recover from the pain of going unrecognized, I chose to represent the Greek god Apollo. God of music, god of art, knowledge, and then some. Plus, his weapon of choice was a bow and arrow, one of my favorite sets of weaponry since I was a kid. So when I remembered learning about him when I was younger, I was just like, light bulb moment, and I just ran with it. I didn't think twice. I didn't think about where the name elsewhere was attached. I just ran with it. But my intentions were pure. However, I got lost in the duality of reality and fantasy. Trying to embody a god just got too serious. It filled my ego. Created a super ego, if you will. I started growing mad unappreciative of the genuine spirits around me. A big fuck everyone energy. It was just gross. I let a lot of shit get to my head. I've been through a couple hiatuses, and deep down, I always think about this change. Only recently, with 2020 into 2021 and everything, was I able to go through this ego death and see that my purpose here is not to embody a god, not to embody a leader. Music has given me the chance to embrace the humanity I wasn't always allowed to fully acknowledge in my early years. Music has given me the chance to guide those with similar stories as I. First, there was the duo, Astro and Apollo. Some of the most amazing memories, man, are shared with my brother in that basement, but the timing was just too faulty. Second, I began my solo career with, it began with Black and White. It was under Apollo with a period at first, then with the exclamation mark, who we've all grown to love and hate. But I got a story for this third time around. Another identity crisis is when I got to Harvard for the No Label Academy. There was another Apollo within the group. And keep in mind, I had spent the past 3 years already trying to break out of the sea, the pool of Apollos that I discovered after I released Black and White. Seriously, yo, there are so many. I know my purpose, and I can't have it be tied with anyone else. No disrespect. Anyway, we're at dinner the first night, and everyone's saying their ages, and bruh, everybody was definitely over 21, and at the time, I was still 19. I'm just like, damn, I gotta get my shit together. But, slowly but surely, this anxiety settled because everyone was able to just be real with me. Even sometimes coming to me for inspiration, helping me when I felt down, worried, and all that. There was a student names, and we connected heavy, and she could see something was up, so she asked. I tell her about this identity crisis with the name and the ages and shit. Shorty calls IDK over to our table and just throws all my business out there. I'm nervous. I'm not able to touch my food, fingers shaking under the table. Like, this guy is sitting right across from me, and she's just, like, telling him about everything I usually keep tucked away in my brain. So I'm just like, damn, okay, I guess we're doing this. But she actually explained my sentiments very well, and he replied with this. You've obviously been shown it's a generic name. The change has got to come, but it's got to be you. Don't stress about it, though. Just keep revisiting the thought. Some shit like that. There's a page in these notebooks we got while we were there that I have a bunch of names written down. There was a class in which we were asked to define ourselves. Personally, I like to separate my real self, my legal Breon, from my artist self because they definitely have different lenses on the world at certain times. We were then asked who we wanted to become, and for the artist side, I'm already thinking about the name change. I've been thinking about this for a couple of months now. So I didn't know what to write or put down. I didn't know what to do. We had this break after, and I'm just writing out what I know. I do the Apollo with the exclamation mark, AP, the god of the sun, god of the art, etc, etc, the sun god. And then I start thinking about abbreviations like my favorites, XXX and IDK himself. And so I throw the god into TSG. The sun god into TSG, excuse me. But I'm already knowing I'm trying to leave the god image behind. And then I remember I took a picture of the board. So let me just look at the board and see if there are any more reference points I could use. I look at the picture I took, and I remember I scratched out leader under like who I am and then put guide over it. So I'm like, wait, G. So I scratch out God and put guide, making the sun's guide. I don't want to lead. I want to guide. I want to guide you as I shed light on my experiences for you to learn more about yours. Simple, right? You all have been a crucial part in piecing my broken puzzle of a mental, spiritual, physical state back together. When I started, hella people immediately called me AP. I knew I didn't want to get rid of Apollo after the whole Apollo dies in the end thing I was doing on my Instagram, because they spoke a lot about rebirthing yourself however many times you want during this week at Harvard. So I just abbreviated and shortened everything, making it TSG AP. Formerly known as Apollo, this extension of myself is religiously focused on guiding instead of leading. There are enough leaders in the world, and the more that come, conflict just seems to follow right along every time, no matter who it is. We need more guides, and I want to be the forefront of this awakening. I know this change is abrupt, and all of you are probably confused as fuck. But, like I said, not much is changing, even though really it all is. Anyway, just call me AP. I won't get upset for those that are unaware of the change and call me Apollo. I would be right there with you as you get accommodated to this change, this evolving. I'm ending this with saying, never be afraid to evolve. No matter what dirt's been thrown on your name, No matter how old you are, no matter what the fuck you've been through, your purpose begins with you evolving. On that note, fuck that whole less than sign number 3 thing I was doing. I've found love again in myself because of you all, because of life and the universe. Tonight, I'm leaving to a new country to live in for the next 4 months of my life. I plan on vlogging a lot of what I do, so please stay tuned as we grow this fan base by collectively exploring ourselves with all kinds of music, all kinds of art, clothes, a whole lot coming from me. I love you guys. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching and listening to me open up. It's not easy, but I got you with me. It's not a goodbye, just to see you later. Love you.